Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've got some interesting leaks that have surfaced recently in regards to a major mode returning in Call of Duty, one that I think a lot of players saw the announcement for, were very excited for, and then once it dropped, the hype sort of dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and then the mode was basically just dropped. They didn't support it any longer. And if you haven't guessed yet, what I'm talking about is DMZ, which of course we first saw debut back last year with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. And going into it, I thought it was going to be very cool. Call of Duty was finally trying their hand in extraction shooters. Gonna see what it was like playing Call of Duty core gameplay, obviously a system, mechanics, and just a general feel that we all know and love, and that's why we're here playing it all the time. And doing so in a mode that they've never really gone all in on. They were doing it on a big battle royale based map. It was going to be a completely new, completely innovative thing for Call of Duty. And it was. But unfortunately, DMZ at launch was largely what the game ended up being long term. They updated it here and there, adding in different missions, different acts, or other things you could go through and complete, adjusted it a little bit here and there, but significant updates were not really something that DMZ ever saw throughout the year in any major way. Like we see game-altering updates for Warzone, or multiplayer consistently gets a ton of content that makes the game feel fresh and new. DMZ was not really like that. Like if you were someone who actively played it, you either were creating your own story, messing around with it, or you grinded out all your missions, all your challenges, you completed those, and then it was simply a PvP sort of grind experience where you were just simply looking to get into some action and get into some gunfights and maybe find some cool things to mess around with there. The depth of it didn't really last, right? Especially, like I said, if you were someone who played it often. And then it really came as a surprise to me when Modern Warfare 3 came around and they basically said, oh yeah, DMZ, no more. Here's Modern Warfare Zombies, which is basically DMZ but zombies, but not anything to do with DMZ actually. The premise still somewhat similar with the different acts and missions there, but definitely not an extraction shooter in any specific way. It's much more zombies based with an extraction option, right? So the sort of abrupt stop to DMZ support was kind of surprising for me, and definitely surprising for all the active DMZ players and fans that it, gathered throughout the year of MW2. Even more so, going into Modern Warfare 2022 and going into DMZ, a lot of the leaks, a lot of the rumors, several insiders were reporting that DMZ had been in development for longer than pretty much everything else for MW2. It was like 4 years of development were going into DMZ. It initially started back in like Modern Warfare 2019, and they were putting a lot more work into DMZ from the ground up. Obviously, it being a new mode, it does require that extra initial beginner phase, if you will, as opposed to multiplayer or zombies or other modes that can reuse several assets and reuse several things. DMZ was a ground up experience and had years under its belt in terms of development, only for them to basically completely abandon it within 1 year of it launching. So it was a strange situation, but good news is new leaks, new rumors have surfaced recently, and according to Forward Leaks, one of the data miners, and several other data miners now have come forward and seen the same sort of files and references, DMZ is actually reportedly coming back with the next Infinity Ward Call of Duty game. Now, again, I think it's so strange that if it's going to return, we didn't see any extended support for it really into the final seasons of MW2, then especially into MW3, despite it basically being an add-on for MW2. But their next title, reportedly Modern Warfare 4, could see the return of this. Now, there's a lot of confusion as to when this could be happening. We talked about this lately. There were some leaks that surfaced, and players, were getting mixed signals, basically, or data miners, I should say, were getting mixed signals of if Infinity Ward's next title was going to be in 2025 or if it was going to be in 2026 because of the way that the leaked files and the data mine files were organizing things. But as you know, we've got a certain schedule right now for leaks, at least. Of course, nothing is officially confirmed because we're talking COD 2025 and COD 2026, but the current leaked schedule says that within 2025, we're going to end up seeing another Black Ops based title of some sort, whether it's Black Ops 2 remade or remastered or just a new game with Black Ops 2 elements. That's the rumors so far. But this game would also have Outbreak as an extension to Zombies and feature maps like Avalon for both Warzone and Outbreak and other crossovers like that. And with a third mode, that's of course what DMZ is, there would not be multiple options there in terms of Zombies with maybe round-based and Outbreak in 2025, especially if that's a Treyarch title. And given that all the leaks say that those Outbreak maps are coming back in 2025, it would then shift the DMZ focus as that specific third mode into 2026, which is reportedly when we're going to see that next Infinity Ward title. So unfortunately, for those of you who are, anxiously awaiting the return of DMZ and having this resurgence for the mode itself, it's definitely not something that's coming anytime soon. Black Ops 6 obviously has its round-based zombies. COD 2025 is reportedly Outbreak, and I'd imagine maybe some round-based, support as well as a third mode. And then COD 2026, we finally see the return of DMZ with whatever significant updates come to Warzone and just the franchise in general with Infinity Ward's next title. Perhaps engine updates, other significant gameplay mechanics, server changes, whatever else may end up happening. Obviously, that's so far down the road, it's tough to speculate and not really worth speculating on most of that now. But according to the files, yes, DMZ is already being worked on, and yes, it is on the horizon. Now, the problem is that are we going to see a repeat scenario with this, where it's being worked on for years and years, just like the main multiplayer, just like the Warzone integrations, yet it doesn't end up seeing significant support because it's the third mode of the big three, that being multiplayer, Warzone, and then the third mode, whatever that is, whether it's Spec Ops, DMZ, Zombies, you name it, right? Is that just going to happen again? Because if so, well, we're just going to see the same thing. It's really hype at launch. There's a ton of cool stuff happening with it. And then it slowly dies off season over season when it's getting less and less updates and there's less and less to do in game because everyone's perfected all the challenges and all the missions and leveled up everything they need to level up. And it's just simply exploration or a PvP simulator at that point, just on a larger map, right? So they definitely have their work cut out for them if they're going to take a multi-year break and then reintroduce the mode yet again. They're gonna have to be innovative with it in some capacity, whether that's adding in multiple DMZ experiences so you could play it on some small maps like Resurgence maps, and then also the big Battle Royale map. If there's more risk and reward to it, an actual market, a player market even, other elements that, various other popular extraction shooters feature, maybe DMZ leans in a bit more to that, because admittedly, while DMZ did have some cool, unique, and fun aspects in its initial inception, it definitely lacked depth, as I alluded to earlier. And like I said, if you were someone who grinded a ton of it, at a certain point, you probably hit a wall of, well, I just don't really have much to do anymore, and I just have to wait and see if they're ever going to introduce more for me to do, or more for me to now redo because of various resets or wipes or whatever. But at least we know that DMZ is potentially on the horizon. Of course, at the end of the day, this is just leaks and rumors, so it's not officially confirmed, and we'll probably not have any official confirmations on this for some time, given this is technically a COD 2026 leak. But nonetheless, there's been enough interest, it seems, in DMZ over the year that it was out, and now that it's not really getting supported, there's still people going back and playing it, which I think is super cool, that it is something that COD has on their radar, and it should be returning with the next Infinity Ward title. How it returns, in what capacity, how different it is, time will tell there, but something to be on the lookout for regardless. Of course, in the future, as we see more news and more updates for this, we'll be covering all that here on the channel, so stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in Call of Duty by, of course, hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, if you're excited for the return of DMZ, let me know by dropping a like. It's always really appreciated and does help recommend the video out more to new viewers. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.